This week's episode sponsored by dailygiving.org. Great organization, gives out money on your behalf. What an incredible opportunity to always be in the world of charity. You don't got to do anything. It's $1 a day. Do it for yourself. Do it for your loved ones. What could be better than finding a loved one and giving them the opportunity to have charity be given out on their behalf? Like, what an incredible service to the Jewish people. Dailygiving.org, dailygiving.org. Today is Rosh Chodesh, the beginning of a new month. Not any new month. It's the month of Adar. What's unique about this month is that we learn, the Torah teaches us, Mishenichnas Adar marbin besimcha. When you enter the month of Adar, your joy increases. Incredible, right? Who doesn't want more joy? And the question that the commentators ask is, like, wait, why? I'll take the joy. Like, we'll take two. We're Jewish. I'll take two. But why? And the answer that they give is because we have a holiday coming up. It's the holiday of Purim. But the question is, what? We're the Jewish people. We always have holidays coming up. I don't understand. Really? Like a holiday? Like, what, are you joking? We're the Jewish people. If you're pumped about holidays, the rabbis ask, I don't know, why don't you wait till September? We have an entire month of holidays. Anyone who works in the corporate world knows what it's like to explain to somebody what life's going to look like for you in September. That's a month of holidays. You want to wait for the holiday season? Just say when you enter the month of Tishrei, then you're going to have more joy because we have holidays. Oh, it's because we got saved. The Jewish people got saved. Is that why? Well, guess what? If you wait just one more month, we have a much better holiday because we have Passover. And Passover has a much better story because in Passover, there are lions and tigers and bears and locusts and darkness and blood and split seas. Yeah, we have a lot more fun beating up our enemies next month. So if you really love holidays, just wait a little bit. And when Mishenichnas Nisan next month, Marbim Besimcha. If you look at Purim, I don't know, it's not necessarily the most exciting story that we have. If you remember, the story of Purim basically is the Jewish people living in Shushan, modern day Iran. Amazing how the world turns, right? And there was a king named Achashverosh and an evil advisor named Haman, and Haman got Achashverosh to pass a law saying that in 11 months, all the Jews can basically be murdered. And it happens to be that we had a queen who was Jewish. She came in, she walked into the room, she looked at Haman, Achashverosh changed his mind, he killed Haman, and then the Jews were able to defend themselves, and we survived. Does this sound like a unique story to us? Somebody hates us. They almost tried to kill us. We figure out a way to get around it, and then we survive. What do you think happened every single generation since? Wasn't in Israel. There was no miracles. God showed up with no new thing. It was a political move, and they stayed in Shushan afterwards. Nothing in Shushan split. No heavens opened up. It was a regular political win for us, which most likely happened 100 times since. Why in the world is Purim the month where we're happy? I don't understand something. What's special about it? I remember once being at a funeral of a great man, leader in a community. The place was jammed. The rabbi spoke. The president of the shul spoke. The guy was larger than life. And then his son got up. And he said, as great as you think my dad is, you have no idea. Because he was my dad. And so, yeah, he built organizations and took care of the poor and the needy and, yeah, rags to riches, all that stuff. But you don't understand how hard it is for someone who would ask him 10 questions by morning. I walked with him to synagogue every morning. We had dinner and breakfast and weekends and holidays. He's my dad. As big as you think he is, he's bigger to me because you saw the man. I only saw the Father. You know, as Jews, we've got a pretty big dad. He's the king of the world. And man, is he big. He could do anything. He can make oil last for 8 days. He can bring clouds of glory. He can bring manna from heaven. He can bring locusts and blood. He can do whatever he wants. And we have so many holidays in which we look up and go, my dad's the biggest, the benefactor in the community, the man. What makes it so special is not just when he's big, it's when he's just our dad. Because if you see God as just a king, you only get one piece. If you see God as just the entity that is changing the world and worrying about the state of Israel and the hanging out with the biggest rabbis, and he's this distant figure that you believe in, but he's distant from you, you're only getting a piece. And Purim comes to say, this seems like a regular story, right? It happens to be that Esther's the queen. Really? It happens to be that Mordecai saves the king, and the king reads about it the night in between he's about to see Haman. It just happens to be. None of these things happen to be. It's God in the daily life. And he's been there in our daily lives ever since. The story of Purim is the story of just being a dad or a mom. God's not a person. The parent that's always there, always in the shadows, encouraging, helping, building, growing. The walks, the conversations, the stuff that nobody sees. The story of Purim was when God operates in the shadows. And the Jews seeing it and saying, our dad was always here with us. That's joy. That's happiness. Happiness is feeling God's presence every day of your life. Happiness is not thinking that because you're not at some top of a scale of spirituality, then he doesn't love you or is connected to you. Happiness is knowing that no matter where you are in this world, for no reason, he's just there with you because he's in you and around you, and he loves you because he is your dad and your mom. He is your parent. Feeling God's love unconditionally is the greatest source of our joy. Mishenichnas adar marbin b'simcha, the rabbis teach us. You go look at Purim, and you get the lessons of Purim. You see him in a regular day, in a regular challenge. You get that. You've got joy for the rest of your life. Don't wait for God to split a sea before you connect to him. Your eyes opened. He walked the streets. That coincidence? He's with you in the ups and downs, in the good days and the bad. He doesn't leave. He's big. He's a king. But he's also your parent. And he loves you no matter what. Purim is that lesson. When you get to Purim, that's when you get joy. Shenichnas adar marbin b'simcha. This month we should feel it. And when we do, we're going to have true joy.